This video is the third in our series on research using secondary sources. Today we'll focus on locating those secondary sources on the BloombergLaw, Lexis, or Westlaw platforms. When you're looking for secondary source materials on any of these platforms, you can either begin with a broad search, or you can select a particular practice area and then drill down from there. If you're ever confused about which vendor to try first, you can always search in the Boston College Law Library's Holmes catalog, retrieve a particular record for a treatise, and then locate links to Lexis or Westlaw, and that will help you jump right into the platform. Let's begin by taking a look at BloombergLaw. So we've logged into BloombergLaw. It is possible to search by using the general search box. However, it's going to search across the entire platform, including all of the news feeds, all of the particular portfolio materials, the dockets, and so on. So it's really a bit broader. We're going to avoid using this generalized search box. Instead, we're going to go here under Getting Started, and we can start by looking at all legal content. Once we've done that, we see that there's a category for secondary sources. So I can go in and look at combined secondary sources, all U.S. books and treatises here, or I can look at just the law reports, which were similar to a current awareness service, or books and treatises, or law reviews and journals. So more than one method to get access to these, and again, we can narrow down further if we want. One way you may want to prefer to search, though, is to go to something called the practice centers, because this allows you to focus on your particular topic of interest. So if I'm looking at these practice areas, you'll see that there are fewer here than there may be under vendors. This is an area that Bloomberg is building out, and right now they're focusing on areas of most interest to their particular subscribers. So I'm going to start by looking at labor and employment. And once I've selected labor and employment, it will show me a particular entry page just for that topic. From that, I can look at something called books and treatises. So this is a way to narrow down to the particular secondary sources that are available. If I wanted to see all of them available, when I click on that, it tells me the particular publisher that's produced this source. So if I wanted only to look at ABA materials, or if I only wanted to look at mass continuing legal education materials, I could do so. Remember that BloombergLaw has loaded a number of sources from the Practicing Law Institute, so it's very helpful to be able to pull those up as well. Under labor and employment law, I'm going to look at family and medical leave, just to give you an idea of what's covered. So I can easily pull up a particular source here. This is from a treatise published by Bloomberg BNA. It's called Employment Discrimination Law, and it's going to pull me directly into the disparate treatment discussion, which is where Family and Medical Leave Act discussion occurs, among other sections in this particular source. So notice that in some instances these all have a supplement available for them, because it may not all have an update in the one electronic file. So either main volume or a supplement. So just be aware that on Practicing Law you may find that discrepancy. You may have to do 2 clicks to find your most recent topic. That's one quick way to find secondary sources on BloombergLaw. If we wanted to find out how current this particular source is, we can go back to the source itself, and we can go in and check. Let's see if we can see just how quickly that is updated from the forward. So November 2012, and then the supplement would bring us more up to date. So one of the things we always want to make sure of is that we're looking at the most recent secondary source. Now let's jump over to Lexis Advance. We'll take a look at Lexis and how we can find sources there. So one way would be to begin searching in the search box. So if I'm interested in environmental law in New Jersey, I can go in and search it. I have many sources because it's also including all of the news materials available through Lexis. So let's drill down. We'll use our facets and filters over here. I'm going to filter to secondary sources. And then once I've done that, I still have a very large set of materials. Some may be helpful to me. It's mentioning New Jersey within a larger topic, but notice that I can also filter by jurisdiction. So let me go in and do that. And here I may be finding law review articles and other sources. If I only want practice guides or treatises, I can further narrow. So let me further narrow to treatises. And here I've come up with my selection of treatises. Obviously, I can do a more specific search. I could go in and search again within my results, but here's a quick way to find secondary sources on Lexis. Now, the other way I could do that is I could go back to the main screen and I could begin by building my search and filter each time as I went through. So we use this main search box the first time. Let's clear that, and this time I'm going to select to use filters. And my filters are available by jurisdiction. So let's try it this way by using New Jersey, and also we're going to include non-jurisdictional content because there may be a larger treatise that may still reference New Jersey. So I'm going to check that. I'm also going to search by category because this time I'm interested in a particular category. What I really want to look at are the secondary sources, so I'm adding a filter up there. And I can also search by a practice area, so I'm going to search environmental law selectively. Now I have all of my filters in place, and what I'm most interested in knowing about is oil spills in New Jersey. And I'll let it run that search, and it's brought up the various results for me. So you'll notice that some of these are more generic than just New Jersey, but it has references to New Jersey material within it. So if I'm looking at this particular source, this treatise on environmental law, it's directing me to a specific section, section 3.03, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to double check and make sure how current this particular source is. Doesn't seem to be cooperating. Try one more time. Here we go. Okay, so here's our source. And notice I can immediately open the table of contents and see this, or I can go back and look at, let me see if I can get to the full table of contents. And I have publication information here. I'm going to take a look at that to see if it tells me how currently updated this is. So this is copyright 2015 by Matthew Bender. So this is current. And then finally we'll jump over to Westlaw and we'll take a look there. So again, we could enter a search here in our generalized search box. I'm going to change my focus here to remove Massachusetts so that we're searching on a broader area. There we go. And what I could do is I could doesn't want to let me cancel that, huh? What I can do is I can search just by my topic interest, and I can go in here and I can search for secondary sources. And I can say what type of secondary source I want. Maybe I only want to look at restatements. Maybe I only want to look at treatises or law reviews. Notice these are all the source types that we've talked about in our videos. Here I'm going to select texts and treatises. That will get me my generalized treatise list. And my topic here is again going to be environmental law. So here it's categorized as energy and environment. And maybe I don't know which specific one I want to look at, but when I search here, I'm going to be searching under all of these. So I'm going to search my selection here about New Jersey and oil spills. And I come up with a group of treatises. I can selectively narrow that. I can go in and say I only want to look at materials from New Jersey, which brings me down to 2. So I'm looking at something called the New Jersey Practice Series. Remember, we mentioned the Massachusetts Practice Series in an earlier video. So this is going to tell us specifically for New Jersey, how is this handled? So we're talking about underground tanks and spillage and so on. I have my text, I have my commentary, and notice that I have references to cases or statutes that are going to help me expand my research. In addition, I'll have other suggested sources that come up using the Westlaw search algorithm that will help me to expand my search if I need to do that. So here I find that this particular database, the New Jersey Practice Database, was last updated in July of 2014. If I wanted to go back, there's another way I can search for treatises on Westlaw. I can just go in and search for state materials. Maybe I'm only interested in materials for a particular state. That's how I could narrow immediately to New Jersey. Once I'm there, I can say I have a specific source I want to look at. It's offering me all of these various sources to look at, so I could go in and search all New Jersey secondary sources and again do my environmental search. But maybe I want to start with just practice areas, so I could do a broader search just under energy and environment, and once I'm there I can check secondary sources. In this case I can say show me all environmental sources, and this time if I'm interested generally in oil spills but not necessarily New Jersey, I can go ahead and run that search. This time if I really want to restrict it by date, I can do so. I can say just show me material in the last 12 months, and it will immediately do that. So a number of different ways to change your search on Westlaw. If you again are concerned about how current a particular source is, we can go in and check that source and look at the update material. If you have any questions, please bring them up in class.